Men at work, as we are 5 to 5 here on TAB Radio, Wednesday Drive with Marty Young and Seb Clark, and Neil Sherwin is on the line from Backpage Football. A very good afternoon to you, Neil.
Hi guys, how are you?
Really well, thanks. I know you caught up with the boys earlier on in the week, but the big news last night that broke regarding the Perth Glory boys and the sacking of their coach, David Zrilic. I think this isn't a big surprise to many, but this early on in the season has to come with a little bit of a surprise about it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, why did they not get rid of him before the season started or during the off-season? Or if they'd backed him for the season, leave him in place for more than just 2 games. And, on the face of things, based on his record and whatnot, I think it's the right move. Just the timing is a little bit strange unless they already have somebody lined up to replace him.
We spoke with the CEO a couple of weeks ago, and he said this on Wednesday Drive.
Understands that, where we're at and where he's at. He understands, he embraces the pressure, but he's not one to get distracted by noise and outside pressures. He's one more around just really setting himself high benchmarks. He's very a determined and focused sort of individual. So that sort of pressure I don't think phases him at all.
There's Anthony Radic there, Perth CEO, just 2 weeks ago on Wednesday Drive with Alex Vlahos and myself. Well, seems as though the pressure got too much for Perth Glory. The first game, they went in as favourites, a draw there, and then a game that was over at half-time at the weekend. The writing was on the wall then, really, with his future really up in the air, right, Neil?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I think, the reports from after the weekend where that Glory had already started looking and maybe turning their eye towards other coaches. And I think David Zrilic was a dead man walking as soon as that sort of thing starts to happen. There's no real going back. I'm a little bit on the fence in some ways, because David Zrilic's his record is absolutely terrible. But he's only part of the problem. He's part of a system, and if he's the only one that leaves, have we really solved anything? Because the football department, the owner, the CEO, everybody else involved, it was recruitment by committee, right? They brought in players that can't go on the park because they're injured or they've been carrying knocks from last season. They already can't get their best team out on the pitch 2 games in. And ultimately, they backed in David Zrilic, who had no head coaching experience anywhere. Why would people trust them to get it right this time, second time around, if it's the same people doing the same process again?
Have they named a temporary coach coming out for this next game? And I read that John Aloisi could be a favourite to get the job.
Well, this is the thing. They've gotten rid of David Zrilic, but his assistant is taking the game on Friday. So it's still the same regime.
So what is he doing?
As far as I know, only David Zrilic has left. Adam Griffiths is taking over. By all accounts, a good coach in his own right. But if you're moving away from the head coach, and I did find it bizarre, Anthony Radic's press conference this afternoon, he was asked about, if someone like John Aloisi came in, would he be able to bring his own people with him? And Radic's response was, well, probably not, because we have good support staff in place. So in terms of being a coach, you look at the Perth Glory job, you are taking someone else's squad, possibly someone else's staff, and the transfer window doesn't open again until January, and you probably will have limited funds to play with. It's not a very appealing job. I think in John Aloisi's case, he's twiddling his thumbs at the moment, given the Western United situation, and going to Perth Glory would probably be a bit of a free hit for him, in the sense that he could come in, give it a go, and if it didn't work out, he could just shrug his shoulders and say, oh, it was a basket case. And he'd still happily pick up a job elsewhere. So maybe he sees it as something like that while he's waiting to see how Western United situation plays out. Do they come back into the competition next year? There's a few other candidates being named, but any of the talk around big names and, throw in like Ange Postecoglou or any of that, people are dreaming. Glory can't afford somebody like that. And also, why would somebody want to come to Perth Glory given their track record with the 4th manager in 5 years?
What about Big Ange? Can we get him across?
No, there's no chance. I mean, I don't understand. Why? Nobody. I've spoken to a few people that no one can give me a reason why somebody like that would take on Perth Glory right now. There's no incentive to do so. And that's the reason I say Aloisi's a maybe, because he's being forced out of work at the moment because his team doesn't exist by now.
Yeah.
So you might want to do something. But then otherwise you're looking at coaches that are possibly out of work, like Patrick Kistorbo has been mentioned. You've got Nick Montgomery, for example, was previously at the Central Coast Mariners. He was part of Ange's backroom staff at Spurs and at Nottingham Forest. So maybe you could get Ange light, bring in somebody, an Ange associate. But in terms of getting the main man himself, I would say there's absolutely no chance, and people are dreaming.
You're just digressing back to Ange. Has he been confirmed for the Celtic job yet, or is he going to get it? What's your intel there?
They were in a weird situation. The owner's statement around Brendan Rodgers when he left was really bizarre. They've appointed Martin O'Neill as a caretaker who hasn't worked for many years and didn't do a fantastic job overall when he was with Ireland, if I'm honest. But he's an ex-Celtic manager, so they're not afraid to go back. And that has been the talk, that if they were to go back, it would be to somebody who the fans loved, who brought them success, and is still revered in Scotland, and that would be Ange. I'm not necessarily a fan of managers going back for a second stint, because you could end up undoing some of your legacy that you've built there. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely a name that's been mentioned.
What about the Matildas overnight? They were pretty disappointing, going down 3-0 to England.
Oh, it's terrible. I mean, yes, it doesn't help when you have a disastrous red card inside 20 minutes, but the shot count was 29-3. I think the Matildas managed one shot on target in the whole game. So, yeah, I mean, England are a cut above most nations, and it's a top caliber team to play against, and probably not a bad wake up call for them, I guess, given that we're less than 6 months out from the Asian Cup on home soil, that they will absolutely be gunning to win. But yes, it's a bad result, and in fairness, the scoreline did not flatter England from what I saw of it anyway.
What do you think of that red card? Excuse me.
Oh, it's a definite red card. She played herself into trouble and then dragged back the striker who was through on goal. Yeah, you couldn't argue with it, and it's silly to do that early on in a game, putting your side down to 10 players so soon. You know, she might have thought she'd get away with a yellow card, but there was no other defenders within sight, so it was always going to be a red, unfortunately.
The return of Sam Kerr as well, 70 minutes played. What did you think of her game?
Look, I think you just need to temper expectations. She's in her 30s now, hasn't played at international level for 2 years. For me, it's about building towards the Asian Cup. Getting 70 minutes into her is fantastic, given how limited she's been at club level even as well. So the more minutes she plays, the better it's going to be. Still a crucial figure, given that she's also retained the captaincy. I think just getting as many minutes in games into her club and international level over the next few months is huge, because losing her and Mary Fowler at the same time was a bit of a disaster. They'll hopefully get both of them back in some capacity for the competition. But yeah, I mean, you don't read too much into it. It's really about her just getting through games right now.
Neil, we have to take this opportunity too to talk about that stunning victory by Brentford over Liverpool on Saturday night, 3-2. What did you think of that win?
I think it was it was actually a statement win from Brentford, because a lot of teams might go into their shell when they play Liverpool, but Keith Andrews is someone who took over that job with a lot of people wondering, scratching their heads, why have they given it to him? But he's come through the Brentford system as a coach. A lot of people might not really know who he is, but he's an Irish international. He's done well at underage level coaching, and as I said, come through with Brentford, and they obviously trusted him to do a job, and he's been quite bold with his team selections so far this year, and attacking big sides. They've beaten Manchester United, they've beaten Liverpool now. They only lost 1-0 to Manchester City, and they were very good value for it. Liverpool have a bit of a soft underbelly at the moment, and the danger for Liverpool at right now is that teams aren't afraid to play them. And when you get into that, and that's what happened with Manchester United, that fear factor is slowly but surely dissipating with Liverpool, that teams will set up to attack them now because they know that they're maybe a little bit old at the back, or they're prone to conceding goals from set pieces. And even the likes of Mo Salah, I mean, he scored late in the game, but that was his first goal from play, since open play in the league since the opening weekend of the season. So as soon as a few players go through a slump, and it's not just, I suppose, a few players, it's the whole team. They've lost 4 league games in a row. Alarm bells are ringing, and I think 1 or 2 more. I don't think they'll get rid of Arne Slot or anything like that, but there will be some question marks raised about this title defence. the way they're playing.
Okay, back to the A-League. There's 2 Friday night games, and one of them is around Perth Glory. The second match gets underway 6:45. Is there a chance we could see the sacked coach bounce here? Perth Glory 320, draws 390, Melbourne Victory $1.96.
Melbourne Victory are terrible at the moment as well. They're coming off the back of a battering against Newcastle last Friday night, so it's actually a good time to play them. I think it depends on if the players stand up, because what I really want to see now is can they put in a performance for the fans? The coach is gone. They'll potentially be looking to put themselves in the shop window of sorts for the new coach coming in. So they owe the fans a performance after the first 2 games. If they do, I think they could get a result, but I find it hard to tip Glory to win anything at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd stick my hat on a draw, to be honest. I think it's good value for that.
Okay, draw there at 360.
Not bad. A little bit earlier on, the Brisbane Roar take on Melbourne City. Brisbane 380, as you can expect. Melbourne City favourites at $1.87. The draw there 360.
Yeah, Melbourne City are pretty much the best team in the competition apart from Auckland, so I would definitely tip them to win.
Melbourne, as you said, $1.87. Nice little all up there. Friday night all up. We might get involved at $3.90 into $1.87.
Yeah, $7.29 for the multi there. Neil, much appreciate your time here on Wednesday Drive. Best of luck this weekend, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.